the KMNN studios, this is the Kids Morning News Network.
Welcome to the Kids Morning News Network. It's April 10th, 2024, the 101st day of the year. I'm Alex in the KMNN studio in New York. It is Siblings Day, so if you have a sibling, this is a good day to put aside for a moment the fact that they drive you nuts sometimes. Today is all about the love. A group of women from Switzerland took their country to court over the climate and won. It's the first ever climate case at the European Court of Human Rights. The women, who are all in their 70s, said Switzerland hasn't done enough to fight climate change. And because not enough was done, their health has been suffering. The court agreed with them. It said that violates their human rights. The case took 9 years to be decided. Since it was in the European Court of Human Rights, the decision could change laws in all 46 member states. The well-known Swedish climate campaigner Greta Thunberg was at court to hear the ruling. She said, "This is only the beginning of climate litigation." In other words, arguments about the climate being brought to court. On this day in 1872, the very first Arbor Day in the United States was celebrated. More than 1 million trees were planted on that day. What's even more amazing, it was only celebrated in Nebraska. And Nebraska's population in 1870 was only about 123,000 people. Arbor Day was thought up by a guy named J. Sterling Morton. He was a journalist and a politician in Nebraska. Being in a farming state, he wrote a lot about agriculture. And he couldn't help but notice that there weren't a lot of trees. For a farmer, trees were good. They blocked the wind, prevented erosion, and provided wood for building and for fires. Of course, it's worth pointing out that Nebraska is part of the Great Plains. Nature didn't put many trees there in the first place. But in the 1870s, to the new settlers there, trees seemed like a really good idea. Morton said that while other holidays celebrated the past, Arbor Day was thinking about the future. Today, Arbor Day is celebrated on different days in different states and in many countries around the world. Not surprisingly, the most common way to celebrate is to plant a tree. Time for the riddle. Monday's riddle was: a large yellow eye in a blue face looked down upon a small yellow eye in a green face and said, "You're like me, but in a low place, not a high place." What are they? Well, that's the sun shining down on a flower in a field. That one was pretty tricky. Here's one that's a little simpler. What kind of band doesn't play music? It's a kind of band that does not play music. And I'll give you the answer on Friday. UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, has named 18 new global geoparks. These are places around the world that UNESCO has decided are very important for their geological features. Those show the way the Earth is formed in a certain area. UNESCO also looks at a region's culture and history, the way people live with the land. The idea behind global geoparks is to protect different areas and to help the people who live in them. 6 of the new geoparks are in China, highlighting features ranging from mountains and rock formations to rivers, gorges, and caves. In Finland, a lake formed in the crater of a long-ago meteor strike made the list, while in Greece, a new global geopark is a region with monasteries that are perched on top of natural rock columns hundreds of feet high. With the new additions, there are now 213 UNESCO Global Geoparks in 48 countries. In the weather today, yet another band of rain moving east from the Great Plains. In the deep south around the Gulf Coast, the rain could be pretty intense today. High winds may follow the rain in many places. One thing there will be less of: snow. With spring underway, the snowfall forecast is limited mostly to Colorado and Wyoming. How about we end with a poem today? You know I like to do that. This one is called River Roads by Carl Sandburg. Let the crows go by, hawking their caw and caw. They have been swimming at midnights of coal mines somewhere. Let 'em hawk their caw and caw. Let the woodpecker drum and drum on a hickory stump. He has been swimming in red and blue pools somewhere hundreds of years, and the blue has gone to his wings and the red has gone to his head. Let his red head drum and drum. Let the dark pools hold the birds in a looking glass, and if the pool wishes, let it shiver to the blur of many wings, old swimmers from old places. Let the red wings streak a line of vermilion on the green wood lines, and the mist along the river fix its purple in lines of a woman's shawl on lazy shoulders. That's the Wednesday edition of Kids Morning News Network. Thank you very much for listening. If you liked this episode, please go ahead and note that on your podcast app. Hit the stars or whatever it is you have on your app. And of course, subscribe, share, and spread the word about the Kids Morning News Network. Grown-ups, if you'd like to become a supporter, there's a link in the episode description. No pressure, but even $3 a month would help with production costs. I will be back here Friday. I hope you are too. From the KMNN Newsroom, this is Alex, signing off.